Good looks. Haha, I was muted. I'll be forgetting, bro. Good looking, holy. But yeah, I'm doing good. How's everybody else doing? How is everybody doing today? I hope everything is going well for y'all, man. Gaming for a non-gamer. What is that? What do you mean by that, brother? Yo, Landon, what's good? What's good? We are chilling here. Just trying to figure out what to watch today, what to react to. Myth returns back to OG Fortnite. Myth, does Myth even still post? Oh, he's live. He's got 332 people watching. Let's go rain too. Oh, that's lit. I didn't even realize Myth was still making content, bro. Oh, right. I do got that on my... Bro, I got a whole watch later list. Like, what am I talking about? I'll be forgetting. Wait, no. How strong is Beerus? Yeah, bro. How strong is Beerus? I'm not gonna lie. This is low-key a banger. Low-key a banger. Alright, let's get into it. Bro, why does my camera look... Hold on. I gotta fix my camera. I don't know. I feel like my colors looked washed out sometimes. I don't want to oversaturate myself though. Like that's oversaturated. Come back down. I don't know. Be weird sometimes. Camera be weird. All right. Official Divine. Here we go. YouTube, what is up? It is just back at it again with another video, man. Today we got Official Divine. How strong is Beerus-sama? I'm not gonna lie, bro. Beerus be throwing hands.
Beerus the Destroyer. In the world of Dragon Ball, we've seen a plethora of powerful fighters, but absolutely none of them stand up to this one, Lord Beerus.
Because like every next villain just keeps like it's like 20 times stronger than the last villain, bro. Also, to add to your watch list, Andy News, he breaks down characters and gives you new perspectives on anime. All right, bet. Hey, boss, good looking. I appreciate the lurk. Hold on. Yeah, I don't really care this much about this one. Annie News. Let's see. Oh wait, no, that's not it. Anime. It's it's all one word. I was about to say. No? Oh, here it is. Yeah. What the hell?
Every night it still haunts.
Oh, yeah. I remember this guy. I used to watch some of his videos way back on Rimuru Tempest. Overlord. All right, bet. Good looking. Let's see how strong
Universe
Beerus really
7's
is,
God of Destruction, and whose power eclipses every character that we've ever seen.
Yeah, bro,
with King
like,
Cole telling Frieza that there are two beings within the universe that he must never fight, Majin Buu and the God of Destruction, Beerus. The same Frieza that can turn planets...
Bro, there's a lot of work going into these, like, the B-roll footage, the background footage. There's so much work
and send their light across galaxies, with Frieza also being able to tank a spirit bomb with the energy from the entire universe. With
wait. Frieza tanked the spirit bomb from the entire universe?
Being inputted into perfection, only one name makes Cell's blood run cold with fear, with Cell himself having infinite and bottomless strength and can rip apart solar systems that house innumerable stars. Majin Buu. At the time he was taking orders from Bibbidi to destroy the universe, I'm sure Bibbidi made sure to avoid
Cell
Beerus.
did, bro. There's no way Cell knew about Majin Buu.
With Majin Buu being so strong that he can rip apart the universe just by screaming, and can even destroy the Grand Kai's world, which is a universal-sized planet that can house multiple space-times. But what is it about this destroyer that has everyone in fear? Why are all the strongest fighters that we've ever seen
bro.
in this
Like Beerus is literally him.
series making sure they avoid this
I'm
one?
loving
I
these
mean,
visuals.
really, we
Oh
have
my
Ultimate Gohan.
Who did these visuals for him, bro? I gotta know. Hold on, y'all. Did he do them himself? Clip credit Goku Gohan. Oh, okay. He got them from different channels. Okay. Under section 1, allow fair use. Oh my god, bro. Yeah, these visuals go crazy. I was about to say.
On Super Saiyan 3 Goku and the fusion between Vegeta and Kakarot's Super Vegito. They're the strongest, or so we thought.
Yeah, we thought.
39 years later since he went to sleep, the god of destruction has awoken yet again. Beerus the Destroyer has woken up to a premonition.
I'm watching what was his name? His name was Official Divine. How strong is Beerus? Like, how strong is
a warrior
Beerus
that will
really?
be his rival, a Saiyan who has reached divinity, a Super Saiyan god. Beerus
I'm not gonna lie,
learns
bro.
of
I
the
like that
existence of the Saiyan who defeated Frieza and travels to King Kai's planet to see for himself. With Goku anticipating his arrival,
Goku got
he's excited to test his strength against the supposed strongest in the universe. When Beerus arrives, he's face to face with the Saiyan equal to heaven, Super Saiyan 3 Goku. But nobody would have expected what happened next.
Yeah, bro, he
as
got
Beerus
one-sided.
completely embarrasses Goku and defeats him in 2 blows. With Goku
coulda done
stating
it in
that
one,
Beerus'
easy.
strength is on a completely different level, and not even Vegito could defeat him. With Beerus traveling to
that's
Earth to see if the
wild.
Super Saiyan God is the Prince of all Saiyans. When Beerus arrives, he does exactly what he did to Goku and embarrasses every fighter on the planet. With Goku himself arriving on
But nah,
Earth,
Vegeta was a
he
little
has
smarter
a
than
way
that,
to
bro, 'cause
grant
he was
Beerus'
like, nah,
wish.
Beerus is
Gathering the
definitely
7
gonna body
Dragon
me.
Balls and calling upon the Eternal Dragon, with Shenron telling them that the only way to achieve his
Bro, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Shenron is a cheat code. Not even because, like, he grants wishes, but just the amount of knowledge that he has, like, for things that have been forgotten in time, bro. Like, could you imagine? Like, instead of, like, growing sensu beans, just ask Shenron, hey, Shenron, how can we grow sensu beans faster? Or how can we get an infinite supply of sensu beans? Like, that would have been wild.
wish is to have 7 pure-hearted Saiyans infuse their light into another. With the Z Fighters putting
Why
their
they gotta be
trust in the
pure-hearted,
man
bro?
that always saves the day, all of the Z Fighters pour their energy into Goku, and he's lifted up into a godly light. Thousands of years ago, the first Super Saiyan
Another
God
thing that I never got is, like, why didn't they make Gohan a Super Saiyan God? Like, for the
formed
tournament
as
of power,
ritual
why didn't it
to
make him a Super
defend
Saiyan
their
God? That
planet
would've been
from
lit.
being destroyed. And now, thousands of years
Definitely would've
later,
been a whole
the
lot
Saiyan who
stronger.
became a legend on Namek is going to do it again. Goku is lifted into the air, and Beerus watches as his body changes. 1,000 years ago, the Super Saiyan God was born, and 1,000 years later, lightning strikes again.
Lightning
Landing
strikes
to
again.
face the god of
Lightning
destruction
in a bottle, bro.
is Super Saiyan God Goku. And as their
okay.
battle begins, Beerus is getting excited, as Beerus is basically training Goku how to get used to his new godly powers while still having some fun.
He was getting
and
him the
as their
training
fight
wheels, bro.
reaches the stratosphere, this is the end. Goku and Beerus clash fist, and just the force of their punches alone
Bro, they almost
will be
destroyed
enough
the
to rip
universe.
apart Universe 7. With Universe 7 being an entire universe, or more of a multiverse as it houses 7 different space times
Yeah, that's
within it.
wild,
With each
bro.
of these realms within inside the macrocosm being stated to be infinite in size. With the
Infinite
afterlife
space,
itself
bro.
being stated to be a transcendental realm that
Because
is
he doesn't deserve screen time. Come on, holy, bro. Gohan is... Cell Saga Gohan was the GOAT, bro. If, like, they would have just made him, like, more of a fighter, it would have been better. But, like, I get it. Gohan's whole character is that he doesn't want to fight, so I guess it's true to his character, but still.
devoid of the concepts of space and time, and Goku and Beerus' fists are going to destroy all of it. As
That's
Goku
wild,
is
bro.
still
They are
learning his
actually
godly
going crazy.
powers, he struggles with keeping his ki control to stop the universe from being obliterated. However, Beerus does it for him, as Beerus is able to nullify all of the energy and keep the
Ooh, I
universe
don't
intact.
remember that little
with
bit
their
of
battle
detail.
being stated in the 2013 V-Jump issue to be super
That's just how much
dimensional.
stronger
And as their
Beerus
battle
was.
concludes, Goku is defeated, and Beerus
I'm not gonna
was
lie, I
holding
did not
back.
expect Goku to
begins
lose.
to train on Beerus' world, getting stronger and stronger, and unlocking brand new forms that we've never seen before.
You know, he was originally supposed... Yeah. Yeah, I heard about that. He was supposed to like replace Goku originally and be the main character of the story, but then because of what was it? Akira's producers or whatever, he brought Goku
With
back.
Goku training with Beerus' teacher Whis, and Goku at this point having Super Saiyan God strength within his base form, he's able to unlock a new one,
Super Saiyan
Blue.
So
with
they can
Goku
sell
at
you
this
more
point
products,
still
guys.
not
So you can buy a
confident
different action
that he
figures.
could defeat the Destroyer. Time passes and Goku is able to master Super Saiyan Blue to the point.
Bro, another thing about like Dragon Ball Z, it's like all the Super Saiyan forms and all the strength and power that they give him, bro. It's like everybody else gets left behind. Like they were left behind way long ago, but now it's like you went from like Super Saiyan 3 being peak, right? And now you get Super Saiyan God, which is like immeasurable levels above that. And then you get Super Saiyan Blue, which is a 50 times. It's like, what?
Point where he can combine it with old techniques, with this technique being an absolute gem
I'm
that
not
he
gonna lie,
completely
Super Saiyan
forgot
Blue
about when he
Kaioken
went
was
Super
crazy.
Saiyan, with this technique allowing his power to double, triple.
A cat that's stronger than Goku.
With
Nah,
Goku
for real.
stating that he didn't want to use this until his
For all the people being like, hey, can he beat Goku though? It's like, nah, you should be asking, can he beat
rematch with the
Beerus?
Destroyer. However, even with this Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, he would still lose.
Bro, you know how absurd this fight between Hit and Goku was, bro? Goku was like, oh, you got time travel powers? Bet, bro. I'ma just move faster than light. Like, he was literally like, I'm just move so fast that I'm time traveling.
Because just like how Goku is progressing, Beerus is getting stronger as well. Nearing the Tournament of Power, the Omni Kings hold an exhibition match where all the Destroyers must fight against one another, with all of them targeting the God of Destruction of the
Bro, and
Seventh
how
Universe.
much stronger are the Omni Kings?
Beerus is able to fight against 11 God of Destructions by himself. with
Beerus
it
is
being
that
revealed
guy,
that
bro.
Beerus is using a technique that he's still trying to master. However,
Ultra
in one of
Instinct.
these universes, there's a mortal that not even a God of Destruction can defeat. Jiren the Grey, the pride
Jiren
of
the
Universe
Grey.
11, and a mortal so strong that Goku's trump card, the Universe 7 Spirit Bomb, gets glared away.
Nah,
when
for
Goku
real.
falling into his own attack. Goku!
That was still never properly explained, bro. Like, where did he go?
No, it's not. Arising from the Spirit Bomb's crater is a mortal with the form that the Universe 7's God of Destruction still can't reach. Zensho Migata no Gokui. Only Ultra Instinct.
My boy went
With
Japanese for
Ultra
that
Instinct
one.
Goku closing the gap in strength between him and Jiren and unlocking the form 2 more times. And as Jiren sends down the strongest attack in the entire tournament, and Goku
Wait,
watches
so
as
this
it
is
falls,
just like,
entering
as
into
of
the
right now, this is just a recap of Dragon Ball Super. Like, we're not even seeing how strong Beerus is. Like, he's not
Door
giving
of
us feats or
Mastery
anything. Like, he's
is
giving us a
Son
couple feats,
Goku
but
at
just
his
in the
peak,
summary.
standing atop the stage.
Yo, Raiden,
is
what's
complete
good?
in all its majesty, making all of the gods stand up in admiration. This mortal is really something
was like,
else.
yo, Goku
There's
is
no
him, bro.
denying it. Son Goku
Son
has
Wukong.
achieved mastered Ultra Instinct, with MUI Goku being so strong that he can completely dismantle Jiren, and was even stated in a guide that at this point, Beerus concedes that Son Goku has surpassed him. After
Bro,
the Tournament of Power,
So is this Goku? Could this Goku beat Beerus? Is that what he's saying? I'm good today. How you doing? Bake Broly versus Jiren. I don't know, bro. I think I definitely got Broly. I got Broly because like if Goku said that Ultra Instinct would not be enough to stop him, then Jiren stands no chance, to be honest. But I'm good, Raiden. How are you? I'm disappointed though. The Fortnite Chapter 5, that shit was ass.
threats arise, as the legendary Super Saiyan Broly, who can shatter reality with Gogeta, was stated that he might be even stronger than Beerus.
Oh,
and in the
wait.
Moro arc, Goku is able to master Ultra Instinct to the point where he can access it in all of his forms, and then even use it at will. But of course, it's not over for the God of
Nah, for real, bro. Chapter 5, they were hyping that thing up so much, bro.
Destruction,
I'm literally just
as
gonna delete
Beerus has been
Fortnite off my
training as
PC
well,
at this point.
and even said that he was going to deal with Moro himself, with Beerus being so strong that while even holding back can completely embarrass Evolution Blue Vegeta after the Moro arc, with this Vegeta easily being
Wait.
overmastered Ultra
So
Instinct.
is Broly stronger then Beerus, or is he not?
Goku from the tournament.
You're not really
as when Goku and
nothing,
Vegeta
brother.
came back from their training, Goku in just his base form alone was so fast that Ultimate Gohan and Piccolo couldn't keep up with his movements, even though they were able to track Goku in the tournament. And from Goku's own mouth, Vegeta is stronger than his Omen 4 Ultra Instinct form, with Goku even saying that Moro was the strongest opponent that he's ever fought, with Beerus saying he's going to wrap this fight up, with Beerus also teaching Vegeta a
Gotta wrap it
technique
up.
that allowed him to surpass
My brother had to wait
MUI
45 minutes. 45 minutes is crazy. And then when you get in the game, it's just trash. Like, oh, terrible.
With Beerus also being
feel
able
so
to
bad for
destroy
you, brother.
gag characters like Arale with absolutely zero difficulty, which is absolutely insane. With
That's
the authors
busted.
making it absolutely clear that they want the god of destruction of Universe 7 on top. In the end, I guess we now know why everyone was afraid of this destroyer,
as they
as
should've
this
been.
fighter's strength transcends dimensions. Because even though Goku can create galaxies under his feet with his
Yeah,
power,
that was tough. I'm
always
not gonna lie,
remember,
bro.
before
For as much as
creation
I didn't like Super storyline and like the things they did with the characters, the fights were still top tier.
comes destruction. What's up, guys? It's Divine. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure
That
to
was
like
pretty
and
good.
subscribe. And
That was pretty good. Let me know what you guys thought about that one in the comment section, man. Hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed this reaction. Peace. That was pretty good. I think this was more like just like a rehash of Dragon Ball Super and seeing instead of just like well, it's not what I expected it to be. Let me say that. Okay, so what do we got? Broly versus Jiren. Broly. All right, what do you guys want to watch? So we watch some anime news videos, most popular, every god explained, and Dan Manchi so far. Ainz Olgun. Now let's do some like more recent videos too. I'm not really seeing. Oh, he covers what's this? No? What should we do then? Every isekai fantasy anime is coming out next season. Gilgamesh or Eminence in Shadow. How am I gonna do Eminence in Shadow? YouTube's gonna take down the stream if I watch Eminence in Shadow. Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh. Landon, if I watch My Hero, it's gonna have to be over on Twitch only, cause YouTube be taking down the live streams. Gilgamesh weapons and ability. Hold on, let me see. Okay, second from the top, right here. Bum, 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 bum. Bet. Let's do this.
Imagine a world where Gilgamesh actually decided to go all out in a fight for once, setting aside his arrogance
Isn't he
and
like the
facing his
king
opponent
of,
with every weapon in his arsenal and
of
every
something?
ability at his disposal.
He's the king of something,
Now,
right?
that would definitely be something worth seeing. However, in the anime, we never quite see Gilgamesh's full potential since he's always operating under the assumption that he's the most powerful being around.
Nah, for
And
real.
in the
My
4th
boy-
and 5th Holy Grail War, that statement actually bears some truth. But because of
boy's
his
super
egotistical
proud.
personality, he often finds himself in rather tough positions simply because he
Yo, this
decides
fight
not
was
to
lit.
try.
I remember I watched
So
this
let's take
one.
a look at how strong Gilgamesh really is, by not actually answering the question directly, but instead by looking at what exactly generates his power, including everything from his noble phantasms and abilities to all the notable weapons that he has stored in his Gate of Babylon. And trust me, there's a lot.
Yeah, I bet there's a
Let's
lot.
just jump right into the good stuff, starting with the noble phantasm that classifies this servant as an archer, even though we've really never seen him use a bow in his life.
He's
The
classified
true
as
name
an
of this
archer?
literal portal to a seemingly
not know
infinite
that.
number of A+ ranked weapons is Gate of Babylon, the king's treasure. Which is an interesting
Oh,
name
that's the name of
considering
his
that
thing.
Gilgamesh wasn't even ruler of Uruk when the area had become known as Babylonia.
Babylon.
But since the Golden Capital was often a name used to refer to Gilgamesh's treasury, as well as a
The
common reference to
Golden
Babylon
Capital.
itself, Gate of Babylon became a very fitting name. Now, as I'm sure you already know, this noble phantasm grants access to all the valuable items that Gilgamesh had collected during his time as king. It does so by opening what's known as a divine gate that connects the space of reality to the treasury. This portal acts as an invisible door that allows the treasures and weapons within the vault to easily pass through on just a whim. They can be summoned directly into his hands, though that's rarely the case since he instead would rather use them as projectiles and
That
fire
makes sense.
multiple
That's
at a
why
time
he's,
through
like,
the air like an
classified
omnidirectional
as
Gatling
a
gun that shoots
archer.
different sized bullets with unique qualities every single time,
Tough.
thus classifying him
That's
as not
tough.
only an archer, but an archer with the strongest arrows. The true extent of this ability is determined simply by how serious Gilgamesh considers the fight. He judges the amount of weapons he needs by the severity of the situation. Most often, the
I
gate he
remember
uses
that
is
time
very
too,
small,
this fight.
firing few weapons at a time, sort of just as a playful usage of the ability. But when up against a strong opponent like Heracles, the gate becomes wider and he can fight with up to hundreds or
Hercules.
even thousands of weapons at a time.
Berserker.
The weapons can then be returned to the vault at any time and even reused instantly should he choose to. But the sheer number of
Bro, that's
weapons within the
OP as
treasury
hell.
are said to allow him to fight more than enough battles without having to use the same weapon twice. Now, last video, I don't think that I was over-exaggerating when I said that these weapons were launched at a speed of Mach 10. I mean, that's only 12,348 kilometers per
Only,
hour, which should
only.
probably generate enough force to parry an attack from a jacked-up demigod with 11 lives. But being able to
But-
block one of these weapons is only half the battle. Since each one is different and often a noble phantasm in itself, they
Bro,
likely
that's
have unique
tough.
abilities apart from the massive explosions that they generate on impact. So if you didn't want to get messed up by some random side effect of a weapon he just threw at you for shits, then it'd be in your best interest to just dodge them instead.
Dodge.
Dodging,
Dodge,
however,
go
is
on,
also
dodge. But you
very
can't dodge.
unlikely, since portals to the vault can be freely deployed pretty much anywhere. Although he likes to launch them from behind his back like a total G, he can just as easily completely surround his opponent with
yeah,
portals
bro.
and create an
Omnidirectional
inescapable
attacks, how are you gonna get away
omnidirectional
from that?
barrage of death.
You can't
It's
get away
also
from
said that if he
Simple.
really wanted to play with his opponent, he would just spawn a random weapon into his hand and attempt some good old hand-to-hand combat.
That's
so long as
tough.
he thought he was the better swordsman at least. Though it's likely that quite a few servants would actually be able to take him on in hand-to-hand combat since Gilgamesh is more of a jack-of-all-trades master of none type,
Master of
and
none,
every
yeah.
other lancer, saber, or archer servants are ones who have mastered a single weapon to its utmost limits. But more on his combat ability later. Let's talk about what's actually inside the vault. In order to gain access to the vault, you first need the key. The key
Okay.
is called the Key of King's Law, Bab-Elu. It's a
Bab-Elu.
creation from
That's lit.
Gilgamesh's time as ruler, intended for the sole purpose of unlocking the gates deep within his golden capital. Its shape
that
is
key is
constantly changing, and
overpowered
it can
for no
only be
reason.
handled by Gilgamesh himself. Though Gilgamesh just discarded the key because he sees no use for having it around, and knows no one is
College to get my dream job. Which app designer I plan? Oh damn! Congrats, bro. How far away are you from graduating?
foolish enough to attempt to steal from him. As for the contents of the vault, he's stated to have collected all the treasures to have ever existed in the world during his lifetime,
Bro,
lacking
all the treasures
absolutely
to have
nothing.
ever
I mean, it's
existed?
not hyperbole when he says he collected all the treasures of the earth. Apparently,
them,
the number
not
of treasures
most,
within
all.
continue to increase even to this day at such a rate that even Gilgamesh doesn't fully know how much is within it.
Wait, so how do they continue to increase if he's already dead?
It has weapons, technologies, books, and even games.
Oh.
As an example of how
I'm not gonna lie, guys. We might need to go get that power.
Would
Free
continues to
games for
expand,
life.
since the technology he had collected from his era served as a basis for modern technology, things like airplanes and submarines also exist within the vault. But here's where things get
Bro.
interesting.
Not 2 months. Oh, it's your senior year. Damn, bro. Congrats.
Gilgamesh was the first hero. His collection of treasures, which included weapons and books and technology, served as the origin of human wisdom. The only things that could be missing from the vault are items that are produced by
not gonna
entities
lie,
not
bro,
of the human
Gilgamesh
race
is like-
or of extraterrestrial origin. So since this is the case,
abilities
that
are
means
just
that all
overpowered,
other
bro.
weapons that serve as noble phantasms to other servants were derived from Gilgamesh's collection and therefore exist within his vault. They're not known as their
So he
named
has
versions, though.
all the attacks,
They're actually
bro, and all
nameless
the
and referred
weapons
to
of
as
all
the original prototypes. So Gilgamesh, in fact, contains the prototype for every noble phantasm to ever be created by humans, since they were originally derived from his initial treasures.
Bruh.
Of course, noble phantasms like Heracles' God Hand, which was derived from Heracles' own legend, is one that Gilgamesh can't obtain. Then the existence of a weapon in the vault, like Karna's Vasavi Shakti, is
What the hell is that?
completely unknown to Gil since it was never actually used in Karna's legend. If there's no description of the weapon's use, then Gil really only has the name to go by and can't successfully match it to any other spear in the vault. But the reason that Gil's treasure came to serve as the origin for all others was because after he had died, through ways unknown to myself, the treasures within the vault were somehow dispersed all over the world.
Wait, so
They
then
were
if
either
they're
stolen
not
or
in the vault anymore, then how can he summon them from the vault?
Handed down, and since they were treated as such valuable weapons, they eventually became established as noble phantasms through various heroic legends, which, fun fact, also derive from Gil's legend itself. Now, the quality of Gilgamesh's
So all the weapons derive from his weapons, and all the legends derive from his legend.
prototypes
What the
could be
hell?
said to make even the more popular named versions look like fakes, due to how high quality their original state was. It's mentioned that if a newer version was to ever go up against its original version, the newer version would always lose. Meaning that
What?
Gilgamesh's prototypes are the strongest iteration of every noble
That's
phantasm
not
derived
fair,
from the
bro.
vault. That doesn't necessarily mean that if he was to fight against Gabe Bolg with his unnamed version of it, that he would just automatically win the fight. It just means that Gil's prototype is a stronger version. So if
Bro, how is the prototype a stronger version than the actual noble phantasm itself? That makes no type of sense, bro. It's a prototype, my guy. Like, it's supposed to be like the test subject.
Gilgamesh was to actually take a fight seriously, he could just sift through the weapons in his vault to find just the right ones that would directly counter his opponent. But since he's just an arrogant piece of shit, he'll instead just throw whatever
An
and
arrogant
only
piece
bring
of
out
shit.
trump cards like Ea or the Chains of Heaven in really dire situations.
The
For the
chains
sake of
heaven.
knowing though, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the known weapons within the vault anyway. There's Fergus's Calidbolg, the Rainbow Sword, Roland's Durandal, the Peerless Sword, Cuchulain's Gay Bolg, Fafnir's Demonic Deinschliff Sword,
Bro, what?
Sigurd's Gram, Perseus's Immortal Slaying Scythe Harp, the Chinese Halberd Hotengeki, Indra's Vajra,
Hotengeki.
and then a whole bunch of other unnamed axes, sickles, spears, swords, armors, incenses, vehicles, and even cooking items and food.
Bro,
a few notable
wait, wait, wait.
non-weapon-like items stored inside
So
are
he's got not only all the original stronger versions of the noble phantasms, not only all of technology that's been on Earth, not only all video games, but he also has cooking implements and food. Yeah, we need to get the key to the Gate of Babylon, y'all. I'm
or
not
a
gonna lie.
collection of command spells. The Holy Grail
Where
itself,
that's the real
though,
One
that
Piece.
has long since
That's
vanished
the
from
One
within
Piece,
the
bro.
vault, and even this crazy jet-shaped noble phantasm called Vimana,
Oh,
throne
that's a noble
of the
phantasm
heaven-soaring
too?
king. This is one of the more interesting vehicles in his possession. I mean, sure, he has the Ship of Light, which allows him to travel faster than the speed of light, but Vimana lets him travel at the speed of thought, and it looks pretty fucking cool. It uses solar crystals
The
along with
speed of
quartz and
thought.
mercury as fuel to bypass the laws of physics and travel at impossible speeds. It's a ship immortalized through 2 Indian epic sagas which recounted a golden and emerald arc loaded with various guns and ancient nuclear warheads, as well as equipped with optical
That's tough,
camouflage,
bro. That's
communication
actually
interception
super
devices,
tough.
laser beams, and even bioweapons. No disrespect to the creators of this legend, but
Pochita.
Pochita Chainsaw Man.
I'm the type who seldom flushes my feces.
That's nasty.
it's almost like a 5-year-old came up with a design for this and filled it with every cool feature that they could imagine at the
Nah,
time.
for real.
Anyway,
That's a
then he has
overpowered
the
ass
Potion of
weapon.
Youth from his legend, which, as you already know, returns the user back to their younger self. Apparently, it returns you to the form of a child, and that in itself not only alters his appearance, but also his personality.
It
Although the
alters
memories
his
from his older
personality
self
too?
remains, his younger self can't really comprehend the older's actions, and there forms this disconnect between the two of them. It's assumed that this potion was used to allow himself to blend in during the 10 years of off time after the Fourth Holy Grail War. Though, if the time ever came for him
Wait,
to
so they don't disappear after the war? They just survive?
suddenly have to fight at full strength, he could forcibly reverse the effects. That being said, Gilgamesh does have a couple of go-to weapons, and they are Ea and Enkidu. Enkidu, Chains of Heaven, being named after his best friend and all, is
Enkidu.
classified as
Yo, Landon, what's up? I still got, yeah, you still got some 415. It's good. You're making progress. You're making progress.
his most trusted noble phantasm. It's a weapon crafted by the gods with the purpose of binding the gods, making it one of the few anti-divine weapons that grows stronger with the more divinity that an opponent has. But that can also act as a double-edged sword, since an opponent like Saber who has no divinity whatsoever would just be up against regular chains that could be broken out of with just a little bit of effort.
Wait, Saber
Though
has
there
no
is
divinity?
also a limit to the buff that it gets against those of divine origin, since Heracles was able to move around quite a lot after getting completely binded by the chains, and he himself is half god. Though it is technically just one long chain, multiple sections of it can be summoned at a time, allowing for binding around various parts of the body. He goes for complete immobility when he wants to bind his opponent, and can attempt it a seemingly infinite number of times, since there never seems to be a limit to its length when he uses them. It can also bind the
infinite
very space
chain
it takes
is
up,
crazy.
nullifying all magic in the area. Then there's his Sword of Rupture, Ea, the most powerful noble phantasm within Gilgamesh's treasury and the so-called pinnacle of noble phantasms. A sword that's unique to Gilgamesh's existence and never passed down for future legends. Though calling it a sword isn't technically correct, since it was an item that existed before the concept of a sword was even invented.
So who made
It's
it?
designed with a cylindrical drill-like pillar split into 3 rotating segments that represent the heavens, the earth, and the underworld, which when combined together, form a representation of the universe itself.
So it's a sword
Ea
with the
was
power
simply
of the
a name
universe,
that
basically.
Gilgamesh chose for it, most likely as tribute to the Mesopotamian gods of earth and water. In actuality, it's a nameless creation of a god from long before humanity's existence, which then crystallized into form at the beginning of the world. A one-of-a-kind divine construct that even Shiro's unlimited blade works can't duplicate. A sword that
Unlimited
knew the world
blade
before
works.
Genesis, making it the first
Nah,
memory of
Gilgamesh
life
really
that
is
can only
OP.
be shown
like,
when
my
someone
boy is
gazes upon it.
overpowered to the max. It's stronger because back in the old days they had more durability. It was made to last. Damn.
The true formation
Damn.
of the world as it happened and as it was witnessed by this divine weapon. But what exactly does this noble phantasm do?
Nah, for
There's
real. What does it
actually
do?
an ability attributed to it that Gilgamesh needs to call by name in order to activate it. It's called Enuma Elish, the star of
Enuma Elish.
creation that split heaven and earth.
Woo.
As the 3 cylindrical sections of the sword begin to
That's a
rotate,
tough name,
the
I'm not
resulting
gonna
winds
lie.
create a spatial severance. You see, these aren't just your normal winds. They're described as compressed and intertwined stratifications or layers of wind
Layers
that
of
turn
wind.
into
That's a
gaps
much
between
better
space
name.
and time, which result in an undefendable attack that tends to destroy everything in its path. There are various
undefendable
levels at which
attack.
this attack can be activated, which tend to reflect how serious Gilgamesh is taking the fight. Though even the most held back versions are enough to completely surpass an attack from Saber's Excalibur. So we essentially have this primordial sword that creates winds that tear the very fabric of space. Anywhere the winds cut,
That's
a void
wild,
of
bro.
nothingness will open up, whether it's the ground of the earth or the
A
very
void
sky
of
above.
nothing. React
And
to
that newly
Sid
opened
Kaganu
void will begin
and
to
how
swallow
he's
up
the
its
strongest
surrounding
isekai
area,
character,
creating a
but is
vacuum
there
as it
spoilers for
attempts to
season 2 in
reenact
there?
Genesis.
'Cause if
The
there
voids are
are,
said to
then I
show the
wanna-
truth of the world and reveal the mystery of creation itself, the beginning.
What was it? High Dive? That's where it's on. Oh, 7 days free? I could try. I could watch all of Evidence in Shadow 2 in 7 days. Easy. How many episodes does it have? 12 episodes? Oh, are they already finished? Oh, it's not. Okay, it's not. Alright, coming soon. English simulcast Wednesday, December 6th. Oh, so next Wednesday there's a new episode coming out. Wait. Season 1. How many episodes were in season 1? Oh, yeah, there were a lot of episodes in season 1. Season 1 was tough, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I might try this free and just watch all of Evidence in Shadow 2. Series. What's their most popular series they got on here? Not you, Siri. Audio subtitles. Oh, Annie News? Bet. Well, they got a lot of... Oh, they got Fate Stay Night in there. I don't recognize a lot of those. Right here.
Of life until all that's left is a vacuum. But yeah, you can see how the type of attack that this noble phantasm produces could easily destroy the world Ryder's reality marble created.
Nah, for
Hell,
real.
it could even destroy the world itself if Gilgamesh really wanted it to. Anyway, those are his main noble phantasms. As for his other skills, though not nearly as strong combat-wise, they're still beneficial to Gilgamesh's build per se. First up, he's got the highest rank of the skill Golden Rule, which measures how likely he is to gain wealth during his lifetime, meaning that he will never be in a negative financial situation.
I need
Money
that in
and
my
riches
life, bro.
will always find its way to him.
I
This
definitely
skill
need
played
that.
a great role in helping him add every single treasure in the world to his vault. Then there's his Charisma skill, that allows him to command an army and build an empire with great confidence.
Charisma. Nah, the charisma stat is necessary,
Mobile games
boys.
are going big. Clash of Clans.
He also has Divinity, which technically should be the highest rank since he's 2/3 god, though this rank is actually decreased due to his disdain towards the gods during his lifetime.
Wait, he's 2/3
especially the
god?
ones that killed Enkidu. He also has Independent Action, which gives him a lot of self-sustainability, as well as Clairvoyance in the form of the noble phantasm Shah
Bro, he can
Nakba
see the
Imaru,
future
the
too?
omniscient, omnipotent star. This is Gilgamesh's mentality converted into a continuously active noble phantasm that allows him to determine servants' true names, noble phantasms, and power levels at pretty much a
And
glance.
the power levels.
He can see through magic and even quickly determine the most optimal move in any situation. It damn near borders on the ability to see the future because he can also see the outcomes of a situation through parallel worlds.
Bruh.
So overall, Gil is just a walking powerhouse. His collection of noble phantasms make it almost impossible for anyone to counter him, as he could just quickly assess the situation and determine which weapons work best when.
Or just
But the
full
thing is,
spam you.
he just doesn't. He will rarely, if ever, get serious in a fight, and as I said in the beginning, that is most often the root cause of his defeat, refusing to even use his trump card Aya against anyone that he deems unworthy, which is
Unworthy.
pretty much everyone. He could probably find some pretty devastating prototype noble phantasms in his collection too, though he would never actually think of using them for what they're actually worth. So his potential to be
Bro,
the
his
strongest
arrogance
servant
is
is
his
definitely
downfall.
up there. But he'll never be the strongest, since you first have to fight like a champion to be the champion. And that, everyone, is the Fate
What?
version of
You
Gilgamesh.
have to fight like a
The next
champion to
poll
be the
should be up
champion?
on the community page of my channel, where you
That
can
was
vote for
lit,
the
though.
servant.
That was lit. My boy's just very OP. Very OP. Any news? Sid. Okay, John Smith versus getting Sid's true unrestrained power. John Smith. All right, we're gonna do this first one because this is the older one, so it's probably just got season 1 content. I don't want any spoilers for season 2. I gotta
Anything
get
is
on
possible
season
when you
2.
smell like Old Spice swagger.
Old Spice
Hello,
swagger.
Fresh is here! And my week just got so much easier.
Tonight I'm going to be making
In your
Out of all the
beef.
isekai protagonists we've ever talked about, Sid Kagano might just be the most overpowered out of all of them.
Which is saying something,
That doesn't
boys.
necessarily mean he's the strongest in terms of overall power, but when it comes to what constitutes an overpowered character, Sid takes it to the limit, then goes even further
Even
past it.
further beyond.
He has a certain trait
Plus
that
Ultra.
most, if not all, other isekai protagonists don't even come close to having. And it's that aspect that I feel differentiates him as the
Bro.
most overpowered.
The end of the first season where he just stomped 2 of the strongest swordsmen in the verse and he was just playing with them the whole time. That was so oh my god, bro. No words. It was just you have to
protagonist
see
in an
it
isekai.
to understand it.
So, as I go over what that is using details left out from the novels, hopefully I can
Oh, there's
convey
another
why
night
it
now.
is Sid's
Oh, okay.
overwhelming shows of power are fundamentally different from everyone else's. But first, do you like Chainsaw Man? How about the gun-wielding
Well, I
waifus
just
with
started it,
options when it
so
comes
I don't know yet.
But now, it doesn't necessarily
Strength.
have to refer to a person's
It's
absolute
over
max
9,000.
potential, but can instead relate to that person's ability to overwhelm someone.
Nah, bro.
So,
he be
when I say
overwhelming
that's-
everybody to the max.
Sid is the most overpowered, I'm not talking about how strong he is relative to other characters from different isekai, but instead the scale at which he overwhelms his opponents in battle.
Yeah, bro.
I'm talking about his ability to defeat them in such a one-sided manner that to even call it a battle would be an insult to what truly constitutes one.
Nah, for real.
Now,
That's the fight
I'm
I
sure
was
some
talking
of you
about.
are thinking how Ainz and Rimuru tend to do the same, but the core of what makes them so overwhelmingly strong is fundamentally different from what makes Sid so strong.
Like
Yes, all 3 of these characters do have magic and abilities incomparable to anyone else in their universe, but for Ainz and Rimuru, that's just about all they have. They're overpowered because their magic build and stats allow them to be.
Okay,
Take away
that's
Ainz's
true.
hundreds of spells and his pay-to-win equipment, or Rimru's ultimate abilities and his innate traits as a slime, and what you're
Slime.
left with are two average salarymen who wouldn't survive in a fight otherwise. When it comes to someone
Bro,
like
my boy
Sid,
Rimuru really got stabbed, and he was like, "Erase all my data on my computer drive."
though, even without his magic and the equipment that stems from it, his immense knowledge of combat
Nah,
and
yeah,
mastery
Sid is
over every
definitely
single aspect of
different,
it
bro.
makes him a daunting
Like, he
opponent
didn't
even
just,
before
like-
he was isekai.
He didn't just get isekai'd and then become the strongest because he's got OP stats. He was basically the best hand-to-hand fighter in the world, and then got isekai'd and then got overpowered stats.
He applies this additional element of experience on top of all the other things that the likes of Ainz and Rimuru possess as well, making for this overpowered character who not only defeats enemies with overwhelming magic, but also with an understanding of combat so refined that even the most experienced fighter could be defeated with feints alone.
Yeah, that
Now,
was wild.
I don't
bro. He
expect
didn't
you to
even move, he
understand what I'm
just
saying
did
right away,
feints.
so allow me to explain just how in-depth Sid's sense for battle goes. A deeper look into this extra layer of power that's unique to him
Flash
and
step.
ensures his opponents are defeated in the most absolute way possible. Then, hopefully after,
Bro.
you'll acknowledge just a little bit.
Oh, I stopped streaming on Twitch by accident. And access the specific stream key. What? My Twitch stream stopped. Oh well, that's tough.
Bit of what I'm
As long as we're still live on YouTube and Cake, that'd be fine.
talking about. Starting all the way back before Sid had isekai'd himself, his passion to become stronger had led him to practice pretty much every form of combat.
Yeah.
From karate to
And he was
boxing and
training
swordplay to
every
mixed
waking
martial
second.
arts, Sid engrossed himself in any and
Bro,
everything.
look at my boy. He was super duper swole, bro. They didn't show this in the anime just cause, but like that's actually how swole he was.
That would make him more powerful. That didn't mean he had become the greatest martial artist in the world, but if he kept training the way he did, then Sid definitely knew it was in the realm of possibility. Fast forward now to when Sid is 10 years old in the New World, and a clear disparity is noticed between his fighting style and the ones more common here.
Yep.
You see,
He's
with the
just
ones
better.
he'd learned being a refined mix of the best humanity could come up with, it was only natural the more independent styles of each kingdom seem, well, rough.
Yeah.
Since he'd
He was
spent
just
years
better,
learning
bro.
a style of fighting where movement was minimized and the best of each combat was combined to create the perfect fight, Sid could easily choose what was best for just about any situation. On the other hand,
So he came
with
in
this
with
New
more
World's fighting
knowledge.
techniques staying within their countries of origin, the different schools of combat haven't yet merged into their optimal versions of themselves. Secret skills and hidden techniques are locked away within the jurisdiction of the country that created
Damn,
them,
she obliterated
resulting
them.
in the inability for any person to refine and improve on what was taught to them. So, with Sid being in possession of this pre-existing skill set, that already puts him at an advantage over everyone else in the world.
I kind of want to see this
Combine
fight
that
again.
with the
I'm not gonna
existence
lie.
of magic, and that small advantage turns into something completely different. Reason being that magic completely changes the baseline of a person's physical performance. Like, if he can now lift someone up with a single hand via magic, then everything he knows about close quarters combat is completely useless. It'd
gotta
be like
revamp
trying
it.
to fight a gorilla as a regular human. Say he was pinned in a mounted
It's
grapple,
over for
then he
that,
could
bro.
simply flex his abs to fly through the air. If his foot was caught during an attack, then a slight activation of his leg muscles would send that person flying. These were just a couple of the many new options that needed to be considered now that magic was
That's
added
tough,
to the
bro.
mix. More importantly
Gotta
than
change
that
up your
though,
whole style.
the speed and distance at which a person would step into their attack
We've helped millions of creators improve their SEO to grow their YouTube channels. TubeBuddy is a platform
was completely different and harder to predict now. It was the hardest thing that Sid had to get used to. Since martial arts was all about reading your opponent, knowing their range was of the utmost importance. It meant understanding the angle, position, and distance of their attacks, which in turn allowed him to optimize his own. With those three aspects being everything, as soon as they were understood at its fullest, it didn't matter whether the person attacking was 5 or 100 meters away. Sid could now determine the exact point to stand, which would allow
Yeah,
him
so
to
he's
both
basically
react
him,
to an
bro.
attack and land a blow right after. It was an optimized position defined by a single millimeter. Combine that with an adjustment to the angle of his hits, along with a slight turn to the position of his stance, and those would all be crucial differences, creating advantages for him and disadvantages for his opponent. It was all about creating opportunities through the narrowest of margins, not jumping in 16 feet then dashing 19 back. That was how Sid viewed combat, and he would quickly remaster it even with the addition of magic. Now, that's not to say Sid valued technique over strength, because if he was forced to choose between one or the other, then 10 times out of 10 Sid would always choose strength.
Oh, okay.
Reason being that he firmly believed advanced tactics without the power to back them up was useless.
Okay.
When confronted with strategies that relied solely on power, speed, or reaction time though, those were the ones that Sid hated the most. They completely disregarded the very subtleties of battle that made them so amazing in the first place. So, as Sid himself likes to put it, strength was natural, but mastery required effort. And it's those words that I believe lie at the core of what differentiates Sid from every other overpowered isekai protagonist. Sure, Ainz and Rimuru and Hajime may have mastered the use of their own skills and magic, but Sid has mastered all that plus the art of combat. You see, to him, skill and expertise are pretty much everything. He allows his techniques to bolster his strength, uses his ingenuity to dictate his speed, then his reaction time allows him to scope out potential attacks. They're all aspects that remain independent from the physicality a lot of the others seem to rely on. And though that is definitely important, Sid would never screw up a fight by relying solely on that or any of the other aspects. For example, let's take a look at how he approached his fight with Grease. First, Sid walked forward and waited for Grease to take a swing at him. As soon as that move was made, not only was Sid made aware of his current range, but that was cue for a minute quantity of magic to be used to speed himself up. He would focus the tiniest bit of magic into his feet, compress it till the time of release, then use its explosive impact to make himself faster. So, while Grease's sword was slicing past a target no longer there, Sid was placing himself within range for his own attacks. A slight shift in position that required minimal effort, yet still provided him with all the advantage. When Sid went to initiate his own attack next, he didn't use magic to make himself faster, as their difference in speed no longer mattered anymore. Since he was now on the offensive, Grease had no choice but to move in response to it, which to Sid indicated he could no longer attack anymore. One more step forward, and Sid would now put both parties in a position too awkward for either to attack, leading Grease to step backward just like how Sid had anticipated. Even if he didn't though, just reading the shift in Grease's magical energy was enough to indicate that he was heading there. So this time Sid had manipulated the battle by using his own position to affect his opponents, once again creating a clean opportunity for him to strike without any risk to himself. Now, I know Grease really isn't the best opponent to highlight an overwhelming difference in power, but as the first instance where we get to see how Sid fights, it sets the foundation for how battle is perceived by him. It isn't just this competition to see who's stronger, but instead a dance of tactics in which one must overcome the other. Grease was definitely stronger than Sid was here, but because Sid understood exactly what was happening, Grease could only feel as if he was getting toyed with. He literally felt he was being overpowered, much to the point that he knew he could only wait and accept his death. Now, the battle that truly highlights this fundamental difference in his approach to combat is that one-sided fight against the Witch of Calamity, the literal strongest woman in recorded history who Sid beat just as easily as he did with everyone else. What makes this fight different from all the others though is that in this one he actually had to try a little bit. Not in the sense of relying more on his magic and his OP abilities, but rather through greater insight into what his opponent was capable of. It's an in-depth analysis that he likes to refer to as a conversation. Whenever Sid finds himself facing a worthy opponent, he likes to treat the battle as this different type of form for it. You see, every little thing from a shift in gaze to the position of the feet were all tells that indicated something about the opponent he was facing. They were these tiny cues that each held a very specific meaning to it.
That's actually tough.
So, the more of these little things he observed, the more meanings he could determine from them, and that in turn would lead to figuring out how best to deal with them. It was the very core essence of what fighting was all about to him. Only the most skilled in combat could perceive purpose in the smallest of actions, then use that knowledge to prepare a superior response to it.
That's
So,
tough.
by thinking of it as a conversation, each person's communication skills would be their ability to read their opponent. The stronger your communication skills were, the further ahead you could anticipate, and that in turn would allow you to respond accordingly.
Like a G.
If the other person's communication skills were just as strong, then they too could do the same and anticipate prior to your follow-through and then react to it, resulting in this endless back and forth exchange in which the conversation continues until one person's dialogue becomes too much for the other.
Oof.
On the other hand,
Bro,
if
they
an
destroyed
opponent's
that
conversational skills were lacking much like how many of them do, a dialogue would never even get started in the first place. It would just end up in one party acting on impulse until the fight ended, which to Sid couldn't even be considered a conversation. To him, that was no different than trying to end the fight with a game of rock, paper, scissors.
Rock, paper,
So,
scissors.
whenever Sid was faced with an opponent, every time he would go in trying to start this conversation, but every time until now he would always be met with silence. His opponents would always go in trying to win on impulse, resulting in a far cry from the true type of battle he'd always been yearning for. When he does have the chance to have this conversation though, that's when we get to see just how
The
far
Witch of
this gap in
Calamity.
skill and experience truly takes him. So, first he starts with observation, initially by simply staring to find those first subtle meanings, then following it up by granting the initiative to judge speed, mobility, and destructive capacity. It's a step that usually takes less time the stronger your communication skills were. Once that observation was complete, the next step was to refine his movements, and this typically involved removing unnecessary motion when dodging. Like, if he could turn full steps into half steps and 2 moves into 1, then that would directly result in a window in which a counterattack could be made. You see, the less time spent moving to dodge meant more time for a counterattack, bringing us to the third step in which the first 2 were creating an opening for. Sure, Sid could have evaded Aurora forever, but doing that would never lead to victory. No, his dodges needed to
And
be
it'd just be
refined so that he
boring.
could create space for a counterattack. And that was the essence of the conversation he was having. It was actually noted perfectly through the observations of Alexia. She was the first to understand exactly what Shadow was doing here. Now, for someone as skilled as Sid, the outcome of this battle was made certain all the way back at step 1. His initial observations showed Aurora wasn't as skilled at communicating as him. So, by the time the first move was even made, both seemed to understand it was only a matter of time until the battle would be decided by him.
That's tough.
Now, despite it being so one-sided, I believe this to be the best fight that highlights that fundamental difference I've been talking about. I mean, Sid definitely could have used any number of his OP abilities to end this
yeah,
right
right
away,
from the
but
start, you
that's
coulda
never
used
the
your
type
OP
of fight that
abilities.
he's trying to go for. Unlike what Ainz, Rimuru, or anyone else does, Sid is always going in trying to start this conversation. He wants to begin this dialogue so he can beat his opponent in the most absolute way possible. Achieving that perfect victory is all that ever matters to him. Victory to everyone else just means defeating your opponent, but victory to Sid is something completely different. It's the process of systematically dismantling them in the most overwhelming way possible. A precise operation that always ends with him overpowering
Weave.
them both in strength and technique. So, whereas every other isekai protagonist wins their battles through strength and power, Sid takes it a step above and bolsters all that with technique and ingenuity. He would never solely rely on the magic or skills that came from being isekai'd. No, instead he chooses to rely on himself. His refined experience with combat, which results in this level of overpowering that we only ever see from him. Thus the reason I think Sid to be the most OP character out of all of them. Once again, that doesn't mean he's the strongest, but when it comes to the scale at which he overwhelms his opponent, every other
that's
protagonist
tough.
doesn't even come close. There's no one else who achieves absolute victory and inflicts such hopeless defeat like the way that Sid does. I mean,
Yeah,
the guy
bro, when
literally beat
Sid
the hero
beats you,
Olivier without so much as a sword
It's
or
like,
magic.
it's over.
He beat
You
Anna
know
Rose
it's
with
over.
perfect spacing and terrifying foresight, then humiliated Iris through a series of feints so intimidating she couldn't even move. Now, if that
Yeah,
doesn't
that was
highlight that
embarrassing.
fundamental gap in combat experience, then I honestly don't know what else to tell you. It's his literal life passion to be the most overpowered. But yeah, that's my 2 cents
Bro,
on what I
imagine
think of
your
Sid.
life passion
Whether
being
you
the
happen
most
to think the same or
overpowered.
not, I'd love to hear your opinions in the comments. This was honestly just a fun little topic that I wanted to talk about. Nothing that
GG.
needs to be
That was a
taken
good
too
video.
seriously, I hope.
Alright guys, I'm
But
not gonna
with this now
lie,
done,
I
I'll
got
be
a
going
headache
back
right
and
now.
covering Danmachi next week. So if
But
you're a fan
I
of
can
that, then
react
feel
to one more quick video if you guys really want me to react to another one, but it's got to be quick. After 5 years, you know what's crazy about this video, Cypher's video? This got way more views than Reed's actual video, bro. That's wild. Oof. Boy, I'm hungry. Hungry, hungry hippos. Gojo versus Clover Captains is a nightmare. Start your 7-day free trial. I'll probably start it on Wednesday. That way I can get 2 episodes of season 2 in. But alright, guys, I'm going to end the stream right there. I'm not feeling too well. My head started hurting like halfway through the stream. But I'm going to get some food, get some rest. Make sure you guys get some rest as well. We will be back next weekend. I'm out. Peace.